Sean Scott Winter. I have the honor of representing San Francisco and Northern San Mateo County in the state Senate, and also the honor of being the author of Senate Bill 4, which has now been signed. SB4 was a strong example of tenacity, never giving up, because this was our third try. We fell down the first two times, and third time was definitely a charm. And I want to thank all of my colleagues, as well as Governor Newsom, for understanding the importance of this bill and for passing it and signing it, and it will be in effect on January 1st. I still remember our big mega gathering, our coalition, when we announced SB4 early this year, and how excited everyone was. And I remember thinking to myself, I just hope we can deliver this time, and we did. And I'm just so proud. And I'm just so proud. I just want to really call out each of our co-sponsors of the bill. This was an amazingly broad and diverse coalition. The Nonprofit Housing Association of Northern California. You'll be hearing from Abram Diaz from MPH, who was a true Energizer Bunny organizing this coalition. The Southern California Association of Nonprofit Housing, the Jewish Public Affairs Committee of California, JPAC, of course, the California Conference of Carpenters. The Carpenters were really just instrumental in this and other bills. The nonprofit law firm to Skid Row in Los Angeles. So it's an amazing group of sponsors, and the list of support for this bill is unbelievably long, because this was an idea whose time has come. We know from the Turner Center that when you look at the amount of potentially available land in California for religious institutions and nonprofit colleges, this bill dedicates up to 170,000 acres of land only for affordable housing. And what SB4 does, it is, let's hear that. We know that we have such a desperate need for affordable housing in California. Desperate. We need millions of new homes that are affordable to people who are working class, low income, formerly homeless, seniors on fixed incomes, emancipated foster youth. We need housing for the people who are most on the edge and most at risk of being pushed out. And we also know that our amazing affordable housing builders who build nothing but 100% affordable housing, one of their biggest challenges is getting the land. And someone's competing against market rate developers. We need market rate development too, but that competition can be stressful. And this bill will dedicate so much land for affordable housing. It will be an absolute game changer. Even here in San Francisco, Bill 7 by 7 San Francisco, there is so much available land that churches may decide to develop as affordable housing, and synagogues and so forth. And we know that so many of our congregations have access land in a parking lot that's 2 or 3 times bigger than what they need, and other excess land. They might be a shrinking congregation. They may be smaller than they were 10 or 20 years ago. They may need a revenue stream. They may want to build affordable housing as part of their mission. But we have made it so hard for them to do it that overwhelmingly they just give up, because it's going to take years and years, be very expensive, and it may never happen at all. What SB4 does, it just unlocks that lock and automatically rezones the land. You don't have to go to the city council or board of supervisors anymore to beg for a rezoning and fight with the people who don't want to see affordable housing in their community. The land is automatically under SB4 rezoned, and it's automatically approved, and you automatically get your permit in a matter of months, not years. And so, people will be living in these homes instead of being pushed out or living on the streets are living in overcrowded conditions, and the people building the homes are going to get paid a good wage and health care and be protected against wage theft. So it is a win-win situation, and I am just so excited that we've been able to do this here in California. The YIGBY movement, Yes in God's Backyard, is a national movement, but this is absolutely the most aggressive I think, law that we've seen, and it's going to set a strong example for the country, and I'm incredibly proud of what we were able to do. With that said, we want to hear from a few of the amazing leaders in our coalition. And by the way, I want to thank St. Mark's for hosting us today. Congregation that has a whole bunch of land and the ability to do something meaningful. So thank you for hosting us today, for being part of the coalition. With that, I would first like to bring up Bishop Mark Andrus of the Episcopalian Diocese of California.
Thank you, Senator. I want to begin by saying that our city is the city that can and will, and that we just keep innovating, don't we? Including great political leaders, like our senator. A dozen years ago, I was part of a San Francisco Interfaith Council panel on income inequality. The panelists watched, as background to our presentations, a video featuring UC Berkeley professor and former cabinet member Robert Reich, in which he identified factors that have driven the increasing income disparities in the Bay Area and beyond. These factors included access to higher education, union busting, and cutting taxes on the wealthy. I could see Reich's arguments, but thought that in the Bay Area another important factor is access to affordable housing, close to where one works. Put in the negative, long commutes sap the viability of low-income workers' lives. The response to our panel presentation in 2013 was a call to action. Rabbi Beth Singer, joined by others, said, "I want to be part of a faith community's effort to create affordable housing on property we all own in San Francisco." Our effort was informally called Housing for Essential Workers. And while serious planning and evaluation has continued in the decade since that meeting, progress has been scant. SB4, Yes in God's or My Backyard, can change the narrative into one of real gains in affordable housing built on land owned by faith communities. I welcome SB4 and thank Senator Weiner for his tremendous efforts to bring this bill to fruition. I speak not only for the Episcopal Diocese of California, but I feel sure for the many faith bodies who are part of the San Francisco Interfaith Council, with its great leader, Michael Pappas, in saying that we will redouble our efforts to be active partners with all sectors in addressing the dire need for housing, affordable housing. I also want to thank St. Mark's. They have always been a leader in justice and in housing, and they continue to be, and they are an inspiration to me. Home is a religious and spiritual concept. God made the earth our home. The Hebrew scriptures say that God set a dome in the heavens, and the word dome is the source for domicile and domestic. And even more profoundly, God is our home. In my house are many dwelling places. It is my hope to further the godly project of helping all people find safe, affordable, and satisfying homes. Thank you.
We have an amazing faith coalition behind the bill from our Christian faith and from our Muslim brothers and sisters and others. And we have a strong showing from the Jewish community. And I want to next bring up the CEO of the Jewish Community Relations Council, Ty Gregory.
Thank you, Senator, and I just want to commend you for what a great job you've done as the co-chair temperature of the Jewish Legislative Caucus. On its surface, this looks like a separate issue, but really this is core to our Jewish values. JCRC represents 50 synagogues and Jewish organizations around the Bay Area, and this was one of our top 3 priority bills this year. Our tradition teaches us to love the stranger, and we think that this is such an important way to ensure that we can build a more inclusive community, and to make sure that those that are thinking about leaving the Bay Area don't have to make that choice. There was a time in our community's history where places of worship, churches and mosques, were safe refuge for Jews fleeing persecution and suppression, and the worst of all, during World War II. And so this bill, which expands opportunity and expands affordable housing, is in perfect line with our Jewish tradition and our Jewish values. And that's why all of us and all of the synagogues around the Bay Area have been proud to champion this bill and all of the things that you do, Senator, and all of this amazing coalition does to expand affordable housing around the Bay Area. Thank you.
Next I want to bring up Abram Diaz, the policy director of the Nonprofit Housing Association of Northern California. Abram really helped organize the coalition, and we had some rockiness at different points of this bill, and Abram was right at my side and giving amazing advice and just being amazing and rock solid. So Abram Diaz.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I want to start this. NPH, we are so proud to be sponsors of Senate before, and so proud to have fought for 4 years at the side of Senator Wiener trying to get this measure done. As I look around, I see a lot of friends who helped us out, played a very crucial role. I see carpenters, I see faith leaders, I see affordable housing champions, I see YIMBYs. I see our champion and author here, Senator Wiener, stuck with it throughout the last 4 years to make sure we got it done. I really see a team that never lost faith. When we first started with this, the bill in 2020, and unfortunately, like with a lot of innovative ideas, it wasn't the right time, but we kept the faith. And we decided we needed more allies. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So we reached out to leaders in the Jewish community, Muslim community, Christian communities, and a lot of others to add into the team. And we reintroduced the bill in 22, but once again, it was not quite the right time, but we kept the faith. And we didn't agonize, we organized. We knew we wanted more partners, so we reached out to the carpenters. I'm so happy to have them at the helm and have them here with us. We worked with the Inner City Law Center, as the Senator mentioned. We added other union partners as well, which is fantastic. We said 2023 was going to be our year. And I remember I said earlier this year, I promised that we worked hard and all together. This was going to be it. It would be the last time we ran this bill. And you know what? I'm really happy to say we were right. So Senate Bill 4 has been signed into law, and now we can build thousands of affordable homes across the state. As the Senator mentioned, we've opened up over 170,000 acres of land. That's an acre for every unhoused person in California. The solutions that we have, they're in our hands. We have a responsibility, we have a moral obligation as folks who champion this measure to educate our partners and to put this land to use. Every time I drive around the state and I see a church, I just think of, that could be housing. I see a parking lot, that could be housing. I see an empty lot of my old Catholic church in Tracy, that could be housing. We know it's not going to be easy, but as our coalition proved, it might take time, it might take a lot of dedication, but we can get it done as long as we keep the faith. And so I'm so proud to be up here saying SB4 is signed, it's now the law of the state. And I just have to measure, the YIMBY in chief in a lot of ways. I know San Francisco would be served continuing to have you at that helm here for the city. And I want to thank our co-authors, including Assemblymembers Buffy Wicks, Assemblymembers Tina McKinnon, Assemblymembers Jesse Gabriel. I want to thank the governor for signing the measure. And finally, I really want to thank the coalition. We had over 300 organizations support this measure, and without you, this would not have been possible. So I want to thank all of them so much, and I see some folks in the crowd here, and I'm really excited about this, and this win really is for all of you. So thank you.
of SB4, and most importantly, for hosting this celebration here, so that we can envision together, as a board, we're committed to understanding our history so that we can stop perpetuating systemic injustice and start to right some of the wrongs. So housing has been an important part of our community. That's been there since the 1960s. And behind us, we're working in pre-development on Ella Rolfe's place. We have some renderings up here. So when completed, Ella Rolfe's will be in 94 units of 100% affordable housing for seniors ages 55 and older, including formerly homeless seniors. We're far along in pre-development thanks to a generous grant from the Ella Rolfe's Foundation. And Ella Rolfe's was a Lutheran philanthropist, and her legacy is creating housing all over the Bay Area. So I want to say a special thank you to them. Had SB4 been in existence a couple years ago, and I know it wasn't for lack of trying, we would be farther along with Ella Rolfe's. By our estimates, we'd be somewhere between 18 and 24 months farther in our schedule. So where SB4 really will speed up the process is on this parcel out here. We currently have an auditorium and nonprofit office space. We're going to keep the nonprofit office space as part of the new development because we have really important partners like Project Homeless Connect, the Interfaith Council Homeless Shelter, the San Francisco Night Ministry. A lot of important nonprofits do work out of that auditorium. So we're going to maintain the office space, but most importantly, we're going to build 100 units of family housing for 100% affordable housing for families and essential workers. In the campus of St. Mark's Square will be an interfaith, intergenerational campus of over 300 units of affordable housing. So we're so excited. Thanks again. We do have people, if you want to hear more about our projects, we have representatives from our board and from the congregation who are happy to talk about these projects if you want to hear more, particularly how to get Ella Rolfe's over the finish line, which includes a financing gap and some advocacy around operating subsidies. So
One of the reasons why the timing is right this time is because we had strong labor union support for the bill. I want to really thank the laborers and the operating engineers and the cement masons and SEIU and the California School Employees Association for supporting the bill. But as the leader of the pack in terms of our labor allies were our brothers and sisters of the carpenters, and particularly both the Northern California and Southern California carpenters who have not always been in unity in the past, now in unity, or certainly in unity behind this bill. I cannot stress what a game changer it was for the carpenters to come not just on board, but to put their all into it and prioritize this bill as well as SB 423. So thank you to the carpenters, and I now want to bring up Dan Kalamucci with the NorCal Carpenters.
Executive Officer Jay Brad. Partners Executive Union yet. We are honored to be here and to join this celebration. Working with our partners in faith community, labor, community members, housers, and a true working class hero, Senator Scott Wiener. Carpenter Union members were all in on SB4. In the Capitol, on the streets, rain or shine, we were there because SB4 delivers. It delivers on bedrock principles of the labor movement that the carpenters share with everyone who got this done. That working people need safe, good jobs. That we should uplift all workers with prevailing wages, apprenticeship, and real health care. But more than that, SB4 and this coalition recognize life than just what happens to you at work. That yes, working people need good jobs, prevailing wages. But the housing crisis, 3-hour commutes are tearing apart our families and our communities as much as they tear apart. We need our communities to come together and thrive. We have a right to live where we work, and so the carpenters are ready. As the old labor saying goes, we need bread and we need roses too. So we are ready to work with everyone here and anyone who wants to come along. We will uplift working people. We will build affordable housing in God's backyard. We will meet the moment. So let's get to work.
And finally, I want to just, we have three final speakers. I'll just leave them. They can, I don't need to get up in between each one of them. You've heard enough of me. So we, Jeff Kohler, the president of Mercy Housing Management Group, one of our great affordable housing builders, executive director of UV Action, a national pro-housing organization that does amazing organizing. And then finally, Michael Pappas, the executive director of the unbelievably impactful San Francisco Interfaith Council. So, sorry, Jeff.
Thank you guys, Council Senator, you're improving and making the process more efficient. As we speak. So we really appreciate that. So Jeffrey Kohler with Mercy Housing. And I can never speak on behalf of Mercy Housing without telling you guys all of the sisters are here with me in spirit. And if you know anything about the Sisters of Mercy, they fight, they don't give up. And Senator, I'll just say the sisters are the best. So thank you on behalf of the Sisters of Mercy and all of our staff. And I really say staff, you guys, because SB4 is about making our jobs easier. Those with special needs, and what we do is hard. It takes a long time. I know you all know this, but this tireless effort of just trying to make our job easier gives our staff so much lift themselves, because they really come to work on behalf of the residents, but when really someone's coming in to try to help us, it's incredible. I also want to tell you I'm a proud member of St. Mark's Lutheran Church. So I come and I see this incredible excess land that I know that I can house over 200 more families and seniors on this intergenerational campus. It is here. We had someone that found it, is going to speed it up. And the last thing I just really want to tell you about, 2024 is going to be a year of bond measures for funding for housing. If we can do this, we can do that. So we're going to do it together. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for a streamlined press conference. Laura Wood from UV Action, and we believe everyone deserves a home. And I look out at this crowd, there's so many people here who have tried to build affordable housing. I want to call out my friends in Forest Hill, who this bill took 3 times to get across the finish line, and they've tried 3 times to build affordable housing on their property. And our faith community has been begging to stand up and help us plug the holes in our social safety net. Our faith community wants to be there for our society. They want to step up and help us meet the challenges of this moment. And we need to say thank you in a meeting and have people yell at you. We need to say thank you. This is what we need right now. We need affordable housing in our backyards, and we want to be grateful. So I hope that everybody in the faith community sees SB4 as a thank you. Thank you for being willing to step up and help us build a better society. Thank you for putting forward your property and saying we can house people, we can bring families home, we can help people in our community struggle less every day. And thank you for being willing and able and excited to take advantage of this bill and build subsidized affordable housing in every backyard in California. There is so much opportunity here, and I am so grateful that you all are rising to that challenge and that opportunity, and we can be the wind behind your backs. This bill cannot work if we don't come out and support you more, right? So I think this coalition was brought together to get this bill across the finish line because we know that there are communities who will still want to say no. And unfortunately, this bill has to be enforced. And so I just want to speak for everybody here, we're going to keep showing up for you. When you have a project that is trying to build under SB4, we want to be there for you. We want to be championing you. We want to make those community meetings a little less hard when people maybe are bringing their fear of the stranger to that community meeting. We want to be there with you and say, yes, this is going to enrich our community. This is going to bring more people home. And we are excited to help you make these homes real. Thank you so much, and thank you to the coalition that worked so hard hard to get this bill across the finish line. And now comes the real work of building the homes.
I am smiling ear to ear. And I want to say a very special thank you to Senator Weiner for his patience and his perseverance. And I also want to say a very special thank you to Bishop Mark Andrews, who inspired us and showed such leadership back. And this feels a little bit like Groundhog Day. When this concept first was a piece of legislation, it wasn't even a bill number. And our board of directors, which does not endorse things, we've endorsed 2 pieces of legislation in the 35-year history. And we were down in the Urban Life Center, and I think Bishop Mark was part of pushing us a little bit. We were down in the Urban Life Center before this, the first time around, had a bill number, and we endorsed it. And we were back here at St. Mark's for the first press conference. And here we are again today, but today we are celebrating. And I am so, so grateful. I want to just share that houses of worship, our expertise is not in real estate. Although we have property, we have resources, and there's a moral obligation in our DNA to use it to the greater good. And when we started this, as the bishop remembers, people were being forced out of the city. And we felt that we needed to do our part. And we want to do our part. And I see my friend Landis Graydon out there, who is stuck with us, our consultant who's stuck with us all these years. This piece of legislation is going to help us to get beyond concept and vision to a shovel in the dirt. I learned from somebody in the planning department that there are 800 parcels of real estate that are owned by religious entities in San Francisco. Now is the time. Now is the time, and we're going to get there because the state of California wants us to build 82,000 units, and we are going to do our part because, yes, in God's backyard. Thank you very much.
So much. I have one more ask for you. I would like to get a photo on the front steps of the church. It's not raining right now. They're going to bring the food out while we do that. If everyone could make your way up the ramp to the front steps of the church. And if anyone would like to join in